Imagine waking up to a barrage of notifications, news of global unrest, an urgent email from work, a missed call from a family member. You spill your coffee rushing out the door, get stuck in traffic, and by the time you arrive at your destination, your nerves are already frayed. Sound familiar? In today's fast-paced world, it often feels like we're passengers on a roller coaster of stress, anxiety, and emotional turbulence. We let external events, many of which we can't control, dictate our inner peace. But what if there were a way to stay calm in the eye of the storm? What if your emotions didn't have to rise and fall with the chaos around you? Enter Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that offers a powerful antidote to modern overwhelm. Rooted in practicality, Stoicism teaches that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. It's a way of thinking that empowers us to remain centered, composed, and resilient, no matter what life throws our way. Far from being dry or outdated, Stoic principles are more relevant than ever. They speak directly to the challenges of the modern world, offering timeless wisdom in a language we can still apply today. In this guide, we'll explore 10 key Stoic principles, each one a tool to help you build an unshakable mindset and find peace amid the noise. One of the foundational teachings of Stoicism is the idea that we cannot control everything. Only our thoughts, our actions, and our responses. External events, from the weather to the behavior of others, are simply outside our influence. Yet, we often waste immense energy trying to control these things, leading to frustration and stress. When we focus on the uncontrollable, we become victims of our circumstances. When we shift our attention to what we can influence, our mindset, decisions, and perspective, we reclaim our power. The key lies in learning to recognize the boundary between what's within your control and what isn't. Take something as common as a traffic jam. You can't control the flow of traffic, the behavior of other drivers, or the unexpected delays. But you can control how you respond. Do you clench the steering wheel, mutter curses under your breath, and let stress consume you? Or do you take a breath, put on a podcast, and use the moment to practice patience? By focusing on your thoughts, reactions, and mindset, you shift from being at the mercy of the world to being its calm observer. This is where true freedom begins, not in mastering the external world, but in mastering yourself. In a noisy world full of distractions, it's easy to lose touch with what really matters. The Stoics believed that self-reflection is not just a luxury, but a necessity. Taking time to examine your values, your goals, and your deeper purpose allows you to live with intention. When you know what you stand for, you become less shaken by the chaos around you. Start by asking simple, yet profound questions. What do I value most in life? Am I living in alignment with those values? What gives me a sense of meaning? When you regularly carve out time to reflect, whether it's through journaling, quiet walks, or evening contemplation, you start to build a clearer sense of who you are and where you want to go. Consider someone who feels stuck in a job they don't enjoy. Instead of remaining stuck in frustration, they use self-reflection to reassess their priorities. They realize they value creativity and autonomy and begin taking small steps toward a career that reflects those values. Over time, they not only change their work, but reclaim their sense of direction and fulfillment. Self-reflection provides clarity, and clarity breeds resilience. When you understand your why, the what and how become easier to navigate. Life is filled with events outside of our control. What others think, how they act, or what the future holds. But one of the most empowering ideas from Stoicism is this: we always have control over how we respond. Instead of obsessing over outcomes, Stoics teach us to focus our energy on what we can change: our behavior, our habits, our mindset. It's easy to fall into the trap of frustration. Maybe a coworker is rude or someone cuts you off in traffic. You can't change their behavior, but you can choose not to let it dictate your mood or your actions. By shifting your focus inward, you take responsibility for your own experience and refuse to let external circumstances steal your peace. Think about how small, intentional changes add up. Maybe you can't control the economy, but you can improve your skills, manage your budget, and build a more stable life. Maybe you can't make someone love you, but you can learn to love yourself more fully. By zeroing in on what you can improve, you avoid the helplessness that often comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. This focused energy becomes a source of strength and calm in a chaotic world. It might sound counterintuitive at first, but imagining the worst-case scenario can actually help reduce fear and anxiety. This ancient Stoic practice, known as negative visualization, involves mentally preparing for potential setbacks before they happen. Far from being pessimistic, it's a way to build emotional resilience and appreciate what you have. We often fear the unknown simply because we haven't prepared ourselves to face it. But when you take a moment to think through what could go wrong and how you would handle it, you remove some of its power. For example, imagine losing your job. While uncomfortable, thinking through the steps you'd take, updating your resume, reaching out to contacts, exploring new paths, can make the idea less paralyzing and more manageable. This practice extends beyond careers. It can help you prepare for loss, illness, conflict, or unexpected changes. The goal isn't to dwell on disaster, but to build confidence in your ability to respond. When you visualize setbacks and face them mentally, you're less likely to be blindsided when life inevitably throws challenges your way. Instead, you meet them with calm, clarity, and readiness. It's not about fearing the worst, it's about being strong enough to face it. We live in a world obsessed with likes, followers, praise, and approval. But according to Stoic philosophy, real happiness doesn't come from what others think. It comes from living in alignment with your own values. When you constantly chase validation from others, you give away your peace to forces outside your control. The Stoics taught that true strength comes from within. It's about doing what's right, not what's popular. Consider a writer who pours their heart into a story. If their happiness depends on reviews or recognition, they'll always be vulnerable to disappointment. But if they write because it fulfills a purpose, because it reflects who they are, then their sense of worth remains solid, regardless of external feedback. You don't need permission to live meaningfully. When you act in harmony with your principles, you create a deep and lasting sense of satisfaction that no one can take away. Let go of the need to be seen a certain way or to meet others' expectations. Replace that with the commitment to be honest with yourself and pursue what truly matters to you. Internal validation doesn't just free you from anxiety, it makes you resilient, steady, and unshaken in the face of criticism or praise. Stoicism teaches us that everything in life is temporary: our emotions, possessions, successes, and even the people we love. This may sound somber, but it's actually a source of deep strength and peace. When we fully accept that change is inevitable, we stop resisting it and start flowing with life instead of fighting against it. Hardships won't last forever, but neither will moments of joy. Both are fleeting. When you lose a job or a loved one, Stoicism doesn't ask you to be emotionless. It asks you to grieve honestly, but with the understanding that impermanence is the nature of life. Everything you have today, health, relationships, achievements, can be taken away. That truth can be painful, but it also makes those things more precious. By practicing the art of acknowledging impermanence, you become less attached to outcomes and more grounded in the present. You realize you can enjoy something deeply without needing it to last forever. You stop clinging, and in doing so, you find a more stable kind of peace. When we accept the temporary nature of life, we start to appreciate each moment more fully, and we suffer less when things inevitably change. It's not detachment. It's deeper connection without fear of loss. Gratitude is a cornerstone of Stoic practice. It's not about pretending life is perfect. It's about recognizing the good that still exists, even in the middle of difficulty. The Stoics believed that a grateful mind is a resilient mind. When you're focused on what you already have, you're less likely to be overwhelmed by what's missing. In challenging times, gratitude becomes even more important. Imagine someone struggling financially. It's easy to fixate on what's lacking: money, stability, opportunity. But what if they shifted focus to what they still have: their health, their friendships, their ability to start fresh? This shift doesn't erase their struggles, but it strengthens them to face those struggles with more clarity and hope. Start small. Each day, take a moment to write down or reflect on 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be profound. A hot cup of tea, a kind word, or a quiet moment can be enough. This simple habit rewires your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude doesn't just help you feel better, it trains your brain to look for good, to recognize joy, and to build emotional resilience. And in a world that's constantly pushing us to want more, gratitude reminds us that what we have right now is often more than enough. The Stoics didn't believe in suppressing emotions. They believed in understanding them. Emotions are natural and human, but they can either serve us or sabotage us, depending on how we handle them. When left unchecked, emotions like anger, fear, or envy can drive impulsive actions and cloud our judgment. Stoicism teaches us to pause, reflect, and respond with intention rather than react out of instinct. Imagine feeling a surge of anger after someone cuts you off in traffic. The emotional reaction is immediate, but before letting it take over, you pause. You breathe. You acknowledge the anger without letting it define your next move. That pause is where Stoic wisdom lives. Mindfulness is a powerful tool in this process. By observing your emotional states instead of being ruled by them, you start to see emotions as signals, not commands. They tell you something about your inner world, but they don't need to dictate your behavior. Over time, this awareness builds emotional intelligence. You respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. You become less controlled by fleeting moods and more grounded in clarity and purpose. Understanding your emotions doesn't mean you won't feel them. It means you won't be controlled by them. That's real strength. In a world that constantly pulls our attention in every direction, the ability to stay present is a superpower. Stoicism places great importance on the asterisk now. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, but the present is all we ever truly have. When we live in the present, we quiet our minds, reduce anxiety, and become more effective in everything we do. It's easy to get stuck replaying past mistakes or worrying about what's ahead. But how many moments are missed in that state? How much energy is wasted on what we can't change or don't yet control? Being present means choosing to engage fully with the moment in front of you, whether it's a conversation, a task, or a quiet breath. Consider someone having dinner with their family while checking emails and scrolling through their phone. They're physically present, but mentally elsewhere. Now imagine they put the phone away and focus fully on their loved ones. That small shift creates connection, awareness, and gratitude. Simple practices like mindful breathing, journaling, or limiting distractions can help anchor you to the now. It's not about perfection, it's about awareness. When you live in the present, life slows down. You make better decisions, experience more joy, and let go of the weight of yesterday and the fear of tomorrow.